For our experiment today, we're going to figure out the empirical formula for this copper oxide. I have a sample of copper oxide in the bottom of this beaker. It's this black powder. We're going to get the data off of the slides, and you're going to do the calculations to figure this out. So to begin with, we are going to add some hydrochloric acid to this sample to get that to dissolve. Once it dissolves, we are going to heat it, or I am going to heat it slowly to get a reaction to take place in the beaker. So this will take a little while for that to happen. So I'm going to put it on the hot plate, and we're going to let it react for a period of time. And we're not boiling it, we're just heating it very slowly so the reaction occurs slowly. So after heating for about 30 minutes, we can see that there was a color change in the beaker. Now I have this blue-green solution. So it is definitely a different color than what it was before. It was a black solution. So there has been a chemical reaction that has taken place. So what we're going to do next is we're going to add some zinc strips to this for this to react. And we can see that as I'm adding those strips, there is, I don't know if you can see that, there's some fizzing that is taking place in there. Okay? So if you look close enough, you can see, yes, there's some bubbling taking place on the surface there. So a gas is being produced. So we're going to let this react for a while. I'm going to continue stirring it so that the reaction takes place. And it looks like the zinc is being eaten up, but I'm having something else is precipitating. So I want to get this solution to be clear. So we'll let this reaction sit. It does not need to be heated, so it just needs to sit, and I will stir it for a while until it is done reacting. So after I put the zinc strips into that solution, that green-blue solution, and that's a characteristic of a copper compound, is sometimes they have that blue-green color. You can see my solution now is clear, and I have this precipitate in the bottom, and that precipitate is copper. So in other words, I got the copper to come out of the solution. So I'm going to rinse this. I want to collect that copper, a little water, and then I'm going to decant and keep the copper back in my beaker, and then that copper is going to be wet. So you can see I'm pouring off the clear liquid, and that copper is still going to have some liquid on it, but it's just decanting here. There we go. Looks like all of my precip is staying back in the beaker. And I will put this in the oven. So you can see there's my, it's kind of hard to see, there it is against the white background, there you can see it. That is my copper that I collected out of there. Here's, we call this the supernaut. This is the liquid that came from that solution after the zinc reacted. It made all the copper drop out, so now it's just a clear liquid. So we will dry that copper to get all the moisture out of there, and then we will mass the beaker again to get the mass of the copper that was in there. Here's the drying oven. We will put this in here to dry. It will take about a half an hour. Once it's dried, we'll take it out of the oven and then mass the copper that was produced.